tractor beam out of commission, or this is going to be a real short trip. Okay, hit
it. Hey there. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Or good afternoon.
How's it going?
What's going on, guys? Well,
yeah, good. Again, thank you so much for getting up early and doing this.
Well, we're up at this time all the time. We're just not on camera. So, and you know what's funny? Usually, Jason's not on camera, but first thing in the morning, man, he's got his baby face on. He's good to go.
Yeah.
I'm feeling all right.
It looks really good, man.
Yeah, by the end of the night, he looks like wet trash and
Boy George
and takes up Boy George. Yeah, Boy George without his makeup.
What was it? I go from George Michael to Boy George. I wake up George Michael. Boy George.
Yeah. So it's a good transition.
Let's hope that one doesn't stick.
I'm gonna call you Boy George from now on. But thanks for joining us, John. What's that?
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, we love having you on. It's a lot of fun, and anytime we can talk studio scale with somebody, anytime I can talk studio scale with somebody other than Jason, it's great. Right, Jason?
I'm running out of people. I'm running out of guys to do it with. It's a dying hobby. There's not many people left.
You think it is a dying hobby, but a lot of people are really interested in this stuff right now, and it's coming back in the
yeah. Well, there's like you said in the last show, there's a lot of guys buying studio scale, right?
Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot making them though, like from scratch. A lot of 3D printing is.
Is it me? Is it?
I think it's you.
Is that my internet?
Must be. Are you good? Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Jason, you good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Got the hamster wheel over there in England. Why don't you drop out and come back in?
I think John's good now.
Okay.
You good now?
I'm gonna come back in and come out again.
Okay.
At least it looks good. There's nothing worse than being frozen.
Is that okay?
A little slow.
Okay.
He's gonna drop out.
That's that Euro talented over there.
I know, for reals. They got to get up with
that orange mobile.
It's their Stone Age crap going on.
Whenever I used to go overseas, when I always have to switch up my SIM cards, they're like, "Oh, you want Orange Mobile, Eurotel?" And I'm like, "What are these things?" It's like
really
reminds me like those like Mint Mobile or like Cricket, like those like secondary.
Yeah. John, why don't you drop out of the whole studio and redo it?
Yeah, we might let you back in.
Maybe. We kind of need him to talk about, this stuff. So the whole Pinewood thing and the Nebulon B. So, hey, this will be a record for us, dude. We have 3 shows in 1 week. It's been a while since we've done 3 shows in 1 week. We have that show tonight. We have a group therapy tonight and a studio scale on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, right? Was it Tuesday or Monday?
I believe it was Monday. No, it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night.
Was it? Okay.
And then we get group therapy later on this evening. Will you be there?
I'm thinking yes. We'll see.
I'll be there.
Dude, Friday nights are so brutal for me because I work all week and I work odd hours. I'm all over the place. So my wife's like, hey, let's do something. And I can't really not do things with her when she's on the weekend when I don't see her all week long. You know what I mean? So
that makes sense.
Yeah, got to keep that going. Keep the wife slightly happy enough that she doesn't bug me about my models and stuff like that. So, so if everybody's here, we are going to talk a lot about John's Y-wing that was used as reference in. There he is. Hopefully that's
that better?
So far, till those hamsters get hungry.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed.
Let's keep them crossed. So let's dive in right away and let you just start going about your Y-wing. That's really like the first thing we really want to get deep into that and try to tell us a lot about that.
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a strange one.
So you ended up going to Pinewood?
that was basically. I found out that Guy and Lee got their work in at Pinewood, and I chatted to a guy called Alex Hutchings, and he's such a nice guy. We chatted. I bought a model off him that he produced, and I painted that, and we chatted back and forth, and he was like, just out of the blue one day, saying, have you got these models that we could use at Pinewood? And I was like, Jesus, yeah, I'll you can have anything you want. It's just absolutely just over the moon with what he suggested. And the 5 models he asked for were, now we've seen Andor and watched it back, they don't appear to be in it at all, which is
Okay.
which is strange. So, like,
Which models
I
did
think
he
it
ask
was
for?
the Falcon,
Okay.
the Death Star turret that's now yours. The Y-wing, Darth Vader's TIE fighter, which is a really strange one. I can't work out why they'd want that, because I was like keeping my mouth shut for 2 years basically, and when I was watching Andor, I was like, Vader's going to show up in this. I know he is, because I've been asked for the X1.
Okay.
But
It wasn't a far off possibility considering the time frame.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was thinking, this is and the Falcon. I was like, Jesus, we're going to see like Han and Chewie fly about.
We may have
But-
at one point, John, but like because of how the backlash of how they're just like keeping everything, like
Yeah,
jump,
exactly,
everything
yeah.
is showing up. Did they ask
the
for the
problem.
Dornian as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these background ships, and like the Falcon was obviously for Luthen's ship, right? So that's why they wanted something that sort of size.
Okay.
The Death Star turret, that was seen on the dam.
Okay.
So and Vader's TIE, maybe the Vader was going to be in it, or maybe they just wanted a TIE fighter. I don't know, because there's TIE
Yeah.
fighters in the show.
John, we
Yeah,
haven't seen
Parminder here
season
says
two yet,
that the TIE
so you
bomber
just-
wings. The TIE bomber
We haven't
wings.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, I was gonna say we haven't seen season 2 either, so he just let all the spoilers out.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't. They
I'll
weren't
mess
working
with
on
you.
that yet. So yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, Parminder's right. Of course, Vader's weird. But then I had a TIE bomber, anyway, that I could have lent them. But anyway, it works out that I just said yes to everything. I was like, Alex, I'll lend you my children if it means.
So, John,
I'll give
before
you
you go
anything,
before you go any further, Alex, I looked on his website yesterday. He designed a lot of cool stuff for Solo, and
Absolutely.
we're gonna try to get him on later on, right?
Yeah,
So-
I've spoken to him, and he's up for doing a show with you guys and me if that happens.
We'll make it happen
It's
because he designed the ATDT right from Solo. He designed the what the hell was that? The
Cantwell Star Destroyer.
the Cantwell. Well, he didn't. Yeah, he made the model for that for the Cantwell Star
Yeah,
Destroyer.
he did the maquette. Yeah.
He did Memphis Nest speeder bike, and also God, why can't I think of that bike? The Trooper. What's that hot tool you really like from Solo, Jason? I can't remember the name of that.
Yeah, the Patrol Trooper.
The Patrol Trooper. And he also designed and also made a model of the U-wing and also the
He did like 4 U-wings. Yeah.
yeah. It's like and the turbo tank as well. A lot of I will
The train in Solo.
train. Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna try to figure out how to get that into our show notes. So I'll put his
pop it on the
website
bottom.
on. What's that?
So
Yeah,
you
we'll
can
put
just
on.
pop it across the bottom.
Yeah.
It's just his name at .co.uk, but we'll put it up.
Okay, go ahead. All right. Yeah, I'll
Absolutely,
work on
yeah,
that while you're
because-
talking.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal modeler. He's absolutely, scratch building, painting is awesome. So he contacted me, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, whatever. I'll bring up whatever you need." Pinewood's about an hour and 45 minutes away from me, so it's no big deal driving up there with stuff. But then COVID happened, so that sort of put a full stop to the whole, workings of that plan. and it all went quiet again, and nothing really happened. And then he said, "Have you still got a Y-wing left?" And I said, "Yeah, dude. Yep, yeah." And he said, "Well, we need a Y-wing. Can you bring a Y-wing up?" And I said, "I'll leave tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'll be there. Don't worry. I'll come straight up." So I put it in the car in the morning, took a day off work, drove up there, met Alex, super nice guy. But again, it was all COVID. There's all sort of people being tested every morning, you know, all that stuff going on. We met in the car park, and the original idea was I was meant to come in and, you know, have a look round, and he was going to show me the model shop and introduce me to a few guys and stuff, and it was all going to be like, you know, a dream, you know. But then COVID happened, and we had to do it all in the car park. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but anyway, he had the Y-wing. It was photographed and filmed for like promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So it could end up being in like a making of documentary or the Art of Andor book or something, which would be awesome. But
That would be.
I can't pretend that it was used on screen. I can't pretend that it was scanned. I can't say anything like that. It simply was used to be handled and a talking point and to be used as reference for pre-production of Andor.
Okay.
So
how long did they have it?
Still good enough for prop store.
Oh yeah.
I'm
yeah, that's it there. So that is the ship that they use, you know, to use mine as reference for. So yeah, that's just a digital asset. I think that's not mine. I think that's just
okay. So this is the one you're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, internally that's a Y-wing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they've dressed it up on the outside just to make it a different ship. So. And they have like something called, they call it the War Room, where they all discuss, you know, just production of the show they're working on. And they've got all sorts of like maquettes and models in this War Room that they talk about. I think there's a picture I sent you of Guy's A-Wing and Lee's Y-Wing that were in Rogue One and The Force Awakens. I
don't have that.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't get that one. That one I didn't get.
Okay, well that's in the War Room.
Okay.
So that shows you like I think like there's the quad jumper or whatever it's called like next to it, so you can see some ships that they use themselves in there.
Yeah,
but
I don't have that one.
I think I sent it to your messenger. But yeah, so it was just a dream come true. I couldn't believe it happened, to be honest. It was just it was hard keeping my mouth shut for so long.
Yeah,
that's gonna be difficult.
Well, I remember in one of your paint videos, the Y-wing videos that you did, you mentioned it, but you're like, I can't talk about this, and it was like a while ago.
Yeah, Alex sent me a message. He said, "Dude, you almost slipped up then. What? We're meant to be keeping this quiet, right? You know, like that's how Disney works."
Yeah, and that was what, over a year ago. That was one of your original videos.
Yeah, that was just one of the Y-Wings ones.
So this is the one, right? This is the Y-wing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they don't want it painted, obviously, right? So they can scan in and do
that's
whatever kind of paint they want. Okay. What's Tiger Sprockets? Yeah,
it was annoying because I'd like to think that I'm, you know, my best skill is painting, and it's what I enjoy. It's what got me into this hobby. Is just painting.
You bring it to life.
So I really thought that I would have liked one of my models to be painted that they chose.
Okay.
But they chose the only one that was in primer.
Okay. So which Y-wing is this? Is it, I mean, based off of, you know, the kit parts and stuff. Am I
lagging again, guys?
Probably. Do you know which one this is, Jay?
Unpainted? No, I don't. Not by.
No.
It's Tiger Sprocket.
It's Tiger Sprocket. Okay. I like how it looks like this with all the copper wires and the kit parts, and you can see the kit parts real well. If they weren't so big and hard to make, I'd do one like this and a bunch painted.
Yeah, I do think an unpainted one. I like the idea of that. But, it makes sense having it for reference, right? Because when you're scanning it and getting the detail, you know, there's something unique about that. And Chris, we've talked about this a few times, doing, you know, pieces that are just primed, pieces that aren't like fully finished. To give an idea, you get to see a little bit more of the, you know, the complexity of what goes into it, because the paint, although it brings it to life and adds life, masks some of those details that the eye doesn't really catch.
Definitely does. Are you good, John? Can you hear us?
He's got about 3-second delay.
Oh boy. He was good last time.
Yeah, I just didn't know if I was lagging.
Yeah, you're definitely lagging. You're a couple seconds behind us.
Okay, I'm going to come back in and go out again.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to leave and come back in again. Sorry, guys. This sucks.
No worries.
It's okay, man.
So this is the red jammer. I love the red jammer.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were talking about the other day, it's here, let me get him off and then he can go back in. This is unpainted and the rest of it's painted. And for some reason I love that. Like, but on the ATST, it bothers me. I don't know why, but it does. Like this wasn't even in any of the movies. This was just a model that they used as reference in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So while we're waiting back for John, let's see who's in here. We got a lot of people here today. A lot of comments. We got Parminder, Paulo, Chris Lawson. Hey, buddy. Nick Aberson, Robin. How's it going? Christian Detour Collections. That's a new one. How's it going? Tony, what's up, man? How's it going, Tony? Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but
Guillermo Santos.
Yeah. Is there brass pipes on that model? They probably are jewelry wire, which looks like brass, but it's very bendable.
Yeah, a few of those are jewelry wire. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool thing that I forget who brought me onto that, but that's better than working with styrene and trying to heat it up and bend it, and
yeah,
that stuff's great.
Sucks.
Yeah, that really does suck. They get too hot and they get all squiggly and they get messed up.
Yeah, and if you try and crimp them with pliers, it just you get like a horrible, like it doesn't bend correctly. You get like a horrible pinch that doesn't look right.
Right. So yeah, we were just talking about these are the same size though, right, John?
Yeah.
Okay. The same scale.
Okay. But yeah, just some close-ups of this beauty. Is this all kit parts or is this
yeah, that's so like half of that is kit parts, half of that is resin donors. All the engines are all real. They're all original donors. All the like T-strut, all the wire, like all the copper stuff. Like what's quite cool as well. Some of that is I bought the set off propstore.com. You know, the original.
So they're the actual castings, yeah.
Yeah, I've used them castings on that.
Look at that. That's gorgeous, John.
Yeah, it's beautiful work, man. Congratulations, John.
Man.
Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you.
So, and for this,
I know everybody was like, "Hey, you know, that's great," but like we were literally over here clapping for you. We were geeking out, just as excited.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. That's so cool.
I don't know how you kept it under wraps for so long. I would have told everybody behind the scenes, and then they would have told everybody. You know, so it wouldn't have stayed very quiet, I'm sure. But
no,
that's why
it's funny because like my wife couldn't care less. she was okay. Like she was like really nice at the start, and then she was so bored of hearing me go on about it that
I have the same exact problem. So
yeah.
Gorgeous, John. So then, like, what's the process here? They take it and they use it for how long? How long do they have it?
So they had it 6 months, I suppose, 4 to 6 months, something like that. And then I went back up and picked it up off Alex again, and I was still like, it was so annoying because I was like, I was that close to going in, like to having a look round, but Alex was like, no, can't have anyone in. It's strict you know, like the COVID rules and that. And they were filming The Little Mermaid.
Oh, really?
That was happening at the same time. So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, it was awesome. It was just so nice to be up there. You know, it's like where Alien was, like all the Alien films like done up there. You can see the James Bond stage up there. It's got the big 007 on the side of the building. There's in that picture you can see with my mask on. You can see the big pinewood writing, and it's you know, there you go, right at the back there. It's got pinewood. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And it is
So-
funny because over here we've got like a TV series is like with like Ricky Gervais in like extras and like The Office and stuff like that. In extras, there's some filming in like Pinewood, so I've seen it on TV, the actual studios, and it was really surreal being there.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool, man.
Yeah. But okay, so this was new to me for a little while ago. Okay, so I always just thought they, you know, nowadays they just didn't do physical props anymore like this, and they just CGI'd all the ships. But now they're taking models like this and scanning them, right, and then using them.
Chris, I was gonna say,
well, I don't even know if they're scanning them, to be honest. I don't know.
Okay.
but
No, I
they
think,
definitely use it. So remember how we talked about the? Sorry, guys, I know there's three of us. So remember we had the show the other night. We were talking about like Macquarie using the models as
Right.
it's the same thing, but rather than painting with a brush, they're just doing they're
Okay.
rendering it on the computer. But they
Okay.
need the reference because they can't just off the top of their head design a Y wing. So it's still that's still the subject, and then they're
Okay.
using the subject, and yeah,
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, if we get Alex on, he'll explain it much further and better than I could ever do. But I thought, you know, to have it at 1/24th scale, they can work out the size of a person standing next to it or a person loading it in the background. They can put it with their sets that they've mocked up. I don't know, but it's it literally is. I can't pretend it's anything more than a talking point, really.
Okay. That makes sense now. Okay. Yeah. Well, we will definitely try to get Alex on. We'll work our schedules around whatever we need to do to get him on. That'll be a lot of fun and very informative. And seriously, guys, if you don't know who he is, check him out. Check out his website. There's so much cool stuff on there. I was just browsing through it yesterday.
yeah, he's done some amazing work.
A lot of the ships that I really like from like Rogue One and Solo. So yeah, congratulations, man, John. That's awesome. I mean,
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
that is awesome. And you know, maybe one day, maybe one day we can be you know. But it's too bad you already, you know, yeah, you don't have this anymore because I might be talking to you if you did. This is beautiful. Just the way it is, though. It's beautiful the way it is. Like you can't paint this. You got to leave it the way it is.
Yeah, because there is some pictures floating about. I think that hopefully we'll see in the future of it behind the scenes and stuff. And if I paint it, then it loses its charm. It loses its you know, claim to fame.
Yeah. So you know, let's talk about your other passion right now. Here is the ATDT that Alex did.
Alex Bill. Yeah.
And
see, that,
is he
again,
the one? Is he the one that helped you with the kit parts for the one that
Yeah.
I have? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was chatting with Alex way before anything to do with Pinewood was introduced. It was like just chatting to him as a friend online that could help me out with ideas on his model that he did himself. He's passionate about mechs and that. He loves you know, scratch building mechs and that sort of thing. So this was second nature to him building this. And there's some ridiculously stupid kits on that you know, that are so hard to get. There was like a massive 1/35th scale rail gun that he used quite a bit out of. And it was like a £200 kit, and you just pick out 2 parts from it, and that was it.
That's frustrating. Buy an expensive kit and you only need one little small piece.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, this was Hazard Blue. This was in the Minban scene. Yeah, you saw mostly its foot, and then you saw it from the background, from behind. I think it was walking away. But
Yeah.
this was the model that they used to like just like the Y-wing that you had.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the one you made and I got from you. It's one of my favorite pieces. Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
nice.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and Alex said, he said it's kind of ironic that he gets to build that in like an afternoon or a few days.
Oh, really?
And he has no time to paint it. It just has to be done quick, built and on to the next thing. Go. Because, that's just that's movie making, right? You just don't have time to sort of sit around waiting for, things to dry like we do and putting more layers on and more mist coats and, tarting about, trying to make it work. Whereas he just had to paint it quick. And then I went and spent ages overdoing mine. It's like,
oh yeah, we take a long time figuring exactly out how it's built and then how it's painted. And this was also in Solo too, right? This was the dropship.
That's his own design. It's not in Star Wars at all.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like the one in Solo.
No. That's one of his kits that I painted.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's my paintwork.
It's got like a Blade Runner meets Star Wars kind of vibe to it. I dig it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
With a GT40 paint job.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man.
That is pretty great.
Slapped up with the stickers and the adverts and stuff too. Yeah, that's a great piece.
Yeah.
That could easily fit into a Star Wars movie. Like there's a race car. Like a race kind of scene.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it does.
It was like, do you remember that game Wipeout?
Yeah, look, it's I was just gonna say, someone mentioned in the comments, it does look like a Wipeout car. Yeah. I love that game.
Yeah.
I have no idea what a Wipeout.
Yeah, exactly.
Is.
I think that's his influence when he was doing it.
Very cool. So let's talk about this, John. We've been you and I have been chatting about this nonstop for days now.
Oh man.
You got Neb B on your brain 24/7. And you're like, dude, I'm sorry if I'm boring you. You don't, because I'm like, I fucking love this shit. Send me whatever. Talk, ask me, talk to me. No, don't.
It's a non-three-way conversation. So then, John, when you get off the phone with them, my phone rings. Yeah, so this piece is green and this piece is plastic. What do you think this looks like? And blow this picture up, and then it really because it's so intriguing. It's just one of those things.
Well, thank you, Jason, for being.
Oh, for sure, definitely. But it does for a ship any of the ships, right? That you just see.
Sorry, dude, am I lagging again?
Man, you're good for a little while, and then it stops.
Yeah, it kind of goes in and out. But for some of the ships that you just take for granted, once it's brought to your attention or brought to the forefront of your brain, you start to really look at it and dissect it and look deeper into it, and it just becomes a whole new entity in and of itself.
This thing's a hot mess. Like it's so many different weird kits just cobbled together. John and I were talking the other day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it totally messes with your mind.
Yeah, there's so many different ship hulls and stacked on top of each other here, and it's just even what was that piece on the bottom, John? You said that was that aerator. He's definitely behind us.
Yeah. It's almost like there was no rhyme or reason to this, but then at the same time, it all comes together like peanut butter and jelly,
I love the colors, the greens, the orange,
that was like, an oxygen unit for like a fish tank.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember you told me what it was, but I couldn't remember what exactly was.
I'm going to come back in and go out again.
Okay. This is one of those ones that's it's humongous. And I'm scratch building some things, like just a little ATST, and thinking, this is taking me a long time. I'm putting a lot of thought and effort into this. Building this sucker, I
don't even know Chris, that. As John just mentioned, when we're building. These guys, when they were doing it, not only do they have a handful of them, but this was their job. This is what they're doing, and they were just slapping this stuff together.
Yeah.
Pulling things off, putting things on, what works, what doesn't work. And it's like John mentioned, on to the next. Let's get this on screen. Let's get it filmed. Let's get the next thing made.
You good, John? He's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Yeah, I think so. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry, guys.
We can hear you. You're just a
But,
little behind us.
Shit.
No worries. You will listen to you talk about it. There.
Okay, I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna sit perfectly still and not move, and then just talk.
Yeah, there you go. So, what made you think to do this?
Okay, so yeah, it's having we got a buck of the nose that was like has lineage to the original, and to the fact that we had that, it was just a no-brainer to do it. And originally we were going to just do the front, so like the hulls that hang down, yeah, exactly that. And as like we progressed further, we started buying the kits. I'm talking about like me and Marvin here, Marvin Stifelhagen. He's a good friend of mine, and we were working together on it and buying more kits. And then we thought, you know what, we could, because it's 8 foot long. We thought we could like do it in 2 4-foot sections and just put a like a cut in the middle where you could connect it with a bolt and just like take it away. So after we decided to do that, it's just like, Jesus, this thing is like so long, but so much fun to do. And these are Jim Creevling's pictures that you're bringing up now, and he just made such a beautiful job of his. So I've got a few of those to work with, and you know, we're just seeing how far we can get along. We're going to vac form the head over the buck that we've got. You can see in the pictures there, and because the front of the frigate has holes in it, so it has to be cut through. You can't just use the buck that we've got. You have to vac form over the front. So you can see there, you can see the cuts out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to sort of make a top and a bottom. We've Marvin has had to split the buck file in half and extend it. I was speaking to Guy Cohen, and he was like, you can't just vac form what you've got in your hands now, that big lump, that big sort of cucumber that you've got. You can't just vac form that. You've got to cut it in half. You've got to put a step underneath it to bring it up. So when the vac form pulls down on it, there's space to cut around underneath. And then you've got to flip it over and do the underside, vac form that, then join them together. There's so much involved. It should look quite simple, like being like a straight pole and then a right angle going off it and a mount, but it's just so complicated working out the skeleton inside it, the ribs, how to attach it to the pole, all that sort of things. It's a complete mind-melting project, but that's why, you know, we choose to do these things, because they're difficult and you just want to overcome and conquer it.
So this is where we're talking about like all the hulls that are just like stacked on top of each other, and you just have them, you know, taped and rubber band together. But
yeah,
I mean, how do you even think to start doing that? Like, you know, it's like I would have thought to put like a rod down the middle to support it, but they didn't do that, right, John? They just glued them together, right?
Yeah, so they just go. There's a big triangle that goes down, and they just sort of glue onto the back of that triangle plate. There you go. That drops down the sort of dorsal fin, it's sort of the keel of it, if you like, and they just stick to the back of each one. Gets stuck down, but it's not. I haven't figured it out. It's not easy. It's not. I mean, that's just a mock-up as well out of wood. I'm going to be using perspex as well. But
every time you show me this buck, John, the only thing I can picture is a big freaking dinosaur tongue. That's what comes to my mind every single time. Yeah, dinosaur tongue. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we should call it from now on.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur tongue. But
yeah,
like I was saying, once you get to this part, John, I mean, you're gonna blow this thing out of the water with your paint job. No, I mean,
I agree.
I cannot wait to see this finished and put together.
I hope so, guys.
I'll push you to do it. I'll make sure.
It's like everything. You see the paintwork, and you just want to do the paintwork, and you just think, I'm going to build that because I want to paint it. but then you spend 99% of your time building it, and then the last week you paint it, and that's it. You've spent a year trying to figure out how to build it.
Well, we were talking the other day, John, about how, I'm mostly building now. I'm very rarely painting. Like,
I know. Normally you two are like itching to paint. Like Chris used to be like, I want to build this yesterday and paint it. Where I'm the one who like, I like the building. I'm like, all right, I'll get to the paint when I get to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just paint, you can just buy some resin kits and get them done and painted. But then the more you build these resin kits and the more you look into it, then you want to start making it better by doing your own version, and you want to build it by scratch to make it better, and you want to learn where these kits came from, and you want to go on the hunt for finding these models, and you end up not buying resin kits and just scratch building yourself.
Yeah, I honestly look at it and I think to myself, I don't know. I mean, I can't see myself buying a resin kit and doing it anymore. Like I love building it myself. Even if I gotta buy $100 donor kit, and for one little piece, I still want to do it in model parts.
See that ship right there. Hang on, I'll go and grab it. 1 sec.
This is pretty. I always wondered what this thing was, Jason.
It makes sense now.
Yeah, it does.
Especially the old.
So if you go up, that's what you're looking at up there.
Oh, let me make you bigger. Somehow. Come on, get my mouse here. Boop. Now, what kit is that?
So that is the ship there.
Which one is that?
Hang on, that's the Forestral.
Okay.
It's the FX Forestral, I think this one. But it's
okay.
I mean, there's more flash in the windows than a resin kit.
Yeah. A lot of those kits I've actually been able to pick up for you and send over to you, right? Like I got 4 of them now that are about to be sent over to you. So I get to see what
mate, I couldn't have done it without you. Honestly, you're like my my postman, postman in shining armor.
I'm your dealer.
And then he's got me out doing all the labels. That's why my name's always on the back. When you get the boxes, my name's always on it because
he makes the labels. I buy them on eBay and we send them over to you. So it's a big group effort here.
It's an assembly line, line style.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
So that part at the bottom underneath, that mystery part, that one, the bottom, that mystery part, that one, that's been made into like a 3D file, and Marvin has meticulously built his own like version of that, and there's like 100 of those little tiny hexagonal like shapes that run right across it, and then you have to put like a metal bar through the middle of that. Then that gets hung inside that drop down dinosaur tongue, as you call it.
Yep.
That gets held in place, and it's there's no pictures anywhere that show where the hulls are cut, how far back they're cut. There's one like black and white. No, there's one photo with it in primer, in black primer, in the original Chronicles book that you just can't see. It's just too dark and just too small a picture. And when you blow it up, you still can't really work out where the cut line is. But there's another builder that's done one. I think his name's Marcin, and he's done such an amazing version of his Neb B, and there's pictures of his work in progress. So thank you to him that I can sort of look at his build and sort of think, that's where I should make my cut line.
I'm just trying to I want to show. I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
That makes sense though, because now that when the plate's coming down, you're thinking, well, how much of the ship is, like how much was lobbed off in order to.
There we go.
Yeah.
Here's the 3D print of that aerator that you were talking about that Marvin's doing.
Yeah, 1 sec, guys.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, think about that's just one little section of it. When
getting the measurements, the thickness, all of the dimensional aspects correct.
It's crazy. It's a lot of work. I mean, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, I'm sure there are people who do this on a regular basis and they bang these things out, but that's a lot of time, effort, measurements, all kinds. Look, okay, so this one's look how long this thing is compared to that. Think about all the how many pieces he's got to design for that part alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love how it sticks out really far in the back. And one of my favorite things about this ship, though, is these weather vane kind of things that stick up here.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. They're so cool.
So that picture there, Chris, how much did we go back and forth, trying to work out if that was in line with the ship or not?
Oh, I knew right away it was in line with the ship. Because I mean, listen, I work with pipe a lot. I used to work with pipe a lot. So like it's okay. I definitely, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's definitely in line with that mount. There's no chance it's not. But we talked about the mount a lot.
On Jim's build, Jim put his underneath.
Yeah.
I'm like, why has he done that? There must be a reason why he's done that, but it's just because there's no kit parts around that entrance where the side mount goes in. It's just plating
here.
It's down to you basically where you want to put it. I suppose there's no that's a plug sticking out for the lights.
This here.
That's a plug. Yeah. That's one of those. It wasn't on the inside of the slave one on the wing well. They've got one of those. It's one of those just hanging loose.
See, I mean, like you could see that this armature just 90 degrees right this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you've worked out the mount. Like, what's the next step? You obviously have to build the mount, but then.
So I need to work out how high that mount goes into the back of the head.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can lift mine up quite and show you. I can try.
Yeah. So we were talking about this for a while, John, and you were saying, "Oh, I'm going to do the head," and I said to him, I'm like, John, you can't just you cannot just do the head. You got to do the whole thing. Hold on, let me make it bigger. Somehow, if I can get my mouse to work the way I want it to. Yeah.
So here we go. I don't know how high to put that bar, whether it should go lower, up higher, or in dead straight line with that. So that's been the worry.
I was gonna say, we talked about it the other day. You have enough room for that big sucker, right? Like,
I'll make room. I'll sell some models to you, Chris. You can buy some more stuff.
I think I bought most of your stuff.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, but John, this looks amazing. I can't wait to see it finished.
Yeah, it's a monster. And just seeing the one that Jim Krivling built and the one that Marson built, it looks amazing just in kit parts. But the beauty of the Neb B to me is just the paintwork. I love it.
Yeah, it's both the kit parts as well as the paint. You can't. I mean, a lot of times lately, I'm thinking I don't want to paint it because I like the way it looks with kit parts. But this one looks both. You could do it both ways, and it's just freaking gorgeous. But see, the mount there goes like right through the middle, John.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I've done it. That's how I've mocked it up. So hopefully that's in the right place.
This is another example, Chris and John, of a ship that on screen pretty much looks pale gray, but then you have yellows, browns, greens, all variations of hues and colorations. Yeah.
Look at
that buck at the top is so dark.
Look at Parminder's comment. I can honestly tell you, John, I won't be buying this one from you because it's too big.
No,
that has to be graded, yeah.
And shipping it, man, it would be a nightmare coming across, the ocean. But
yeah, I'd love to get it to a place where we can have it as a celebration. I'd like at least just have the front bit hanging down done, or just some progress, just to show a work in progress. If I do get a table at celebration,
yeah, that'd be great.
With applied ones, so fingers crossed.
John, that would be a good idea. You ever see those little 8x10? They're real skinny. They're like digital picture frames.
Yeah.
So you can put an SD card with video. It'd be cool if like you have images and video. If you do bring a part of this and show like the work in progress going through on that little, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I don't think people quite understand when they see these models what goes into them. You know.
Yeah.
No.
It's easy to take for granted. And then when you like some of the pictures we just saw, as far as like giving you idea of size and complexity, I think seeing that really puts it into perspective and you know, definitely drives a little bit more you know, intrigue and curiosity.
I love
Yeah.
these little fins.
So there's lights in the Neb B, of course, and there's like windows showing like backlit like frames, like stills and stuff.
Are you going to do that?
I'm not. I put lights in it, but all that sort of stuff to me is just it's like
Fluff.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just you know. I'll put lights in it because you know the back those 7 Sat Vs at the back. I mean, like a Sat V now is like £100, isn't it?
Not for us. I can get a bunch of them for. I see a lot of them for like $50.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you're speaking too soon now because you're going to get me sending more shit.
That's okay. I don't mind.
But you need 7 of them for the back. You know, it's ridiculous.
Oh, by the
7
way, I was able to get a Panther G last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I still
Christmas
need.
came early.
I still need 5 more. So, yeah. But
Oh, you got the Bandai little one, a
Yeah.
48 scale.
yeah, the little 48th one. I got
Oh, nice.
3 of them now. 3 of them.
Awesome.
Dude, you got to do this. Like, I love this. That's
the B29.
I love that. Love that. Like a tiger striping there.
Can you
And-
on the so if you zoom in, you see the front where it curls over.
This here?
Above.
Okay, this here.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. That's good. No. On the B29, that's it. That's the curved bit. That's the glass, the actual clear glass that you put on the kit,
Oh, okay.
and they've painted over it.
Oh,
Wow.
that makes sense too.
That's cool.
And honestly, John, your paint style lends. I mean, I could see you painting this because just the way your paint style is, it's like perfect for this kind of thing. It won't be too clean. It won't be like, you know, it'll be messy and it'll look exactly like this. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, looking forward to it. But it's one of those again that's got all the pen marks on it, pencil lines, all that where you've got your hand over now. That's all like permanent marker, like little fine line markers, you know, and all that sort of
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Wow.
that panel lining, but they did it with like pen and pencil.
There is
Wow.
raised panels on it and some scribing as well, but a lot of it is all like pencil marks and
Yeah, I like the look of it, especially the parts that are coming in over the ship, so you can see how nice and clean the line work is.
Yeah.
We're talking about like here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then these little pieces of styrene that are just like hanging here are so cool.
Yeah, some of them are cut, and then some of them are the BT46. This guy, which is the they're on the front of the speeder bike, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they're like I haven't got one to hand, but yeah, so I'm even opening it up on camera.
And unboxing, I love it.
So they are these bits. Don't know if you can see them.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I see them now.
Yeah. And you know the front fenders on the speeder bike.
Robin,
Like that.
Jason, and I are planning hopefully to get there this year. I don't think John will be flying over for Wonderfest.
No, it's a little bit far.
It's a little far for you, buddy.
Yeah.
But I think Jason and I are going to try our hardest to get there. What's this? In this picture, you can see Ark Royal Hall.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, the Ark Royals. Yeah.
What's
I
that?
think I've got another one around somewhere.
What's an art? What is that?
That's,
In this picture here?
I think that's the.
You can see it. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's the Airfix Arc Royal. I can't find it. I've got it somewhere, but it's
Okay.
again.
Which part are we
another
talking
hard
about?
kit- another hard kit to find. It's the two hulls that go together of the Airfix Arc Royal.
Yeah, that's the HMS, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Arc? Yeah.
Can somebody point it out to me so I know I'm looking at? Is it on here? Jason?
Oh, in here? No, you get it's a larger. It's one of the larger bits, like the stacks.
Oh, back here?
No, at the front.
No,
It's on the front. It's just a hull. It's just two hulls put together, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, is this one?
Yeah, I think so. One of those two. No, that's Yamoto. The big ones are Yamotos.
Okay.
You see those? You see the one that's just under the really thin ones. If
The
you keep going
skinny
up-
one.
No, that's Tamiya. If you keep going up,
Here.
there,
Trying to
that's it.
see-
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
ones that you're getting for me. They're the Roosevelts.
Oh, okay. That hasn't
Yeah.
shown up yet.
Yeah,
That's the one that-
they're a nightmare to get hold of, and they're really brittle.
Are they?
I think I've got one of them to hand.
I've actually, the one I got actually
These.
broke the tip. Let me make you bigger. Get this to work.
Yeah, these
Okay.
guys, and they're just the plastic is getting brittle now, really brittle.
Oh. Yeah, that looks beautiful, John. I can't wait to see it finished. We need to you're gonna do the pencil lines? You're gonna do it like that?
Yeah. I'll do
A
all
red
that.
pen.
Yeah, I'll go crazy on it.
Yeah. But yeah, John, that's freaking gorgeous. I can't wait to see it finished. Did we lose him?
Yeah, it's gonna be an amazing piece.
I think we lost him.
I think when he goes on, he's using his phone.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
part of
sorry
using-
guys.
Part of using the phone too is it starts to heat up after a while, right, John? When you're using the video.
Well, yeah, and I've had about 10 phone calls as well.
Telling you to get back to work.
Yeah, I've had people walk in, I've had my phone go, so I'm really sorry about this, guys. It's been
Nah,
No,
that's okay.
it's all good, man. It's all good. That's it. It still flows.
Listen, ask Jason. I'm when I'm talking to him on the phone, I'm driving. I'm no interruptions whatsoever, right, Jason?
Oh yeah, none.
I'm constantly getting phone calls. I'm like, Jason,
Nothing
hold on,
but-
I gotta get this.
They used to
I
be
gotta
me
get
and
this.
Matt. They used to be me and Matt's joke. We'd call each other and be like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I'm calling you to let you know I can't speak to you.
But yeah,
Well,
Jason, I gotta
that's-
say your ATSD is so cool. Where you're working on that. That looks so smart. That's just
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like
I gotta-
you know when you look at like Lee Ralph's work and it's just like it looks perfect in every way. Like you can hold it. You won't find any fault on it at all when you're moving it around and seeing it.
Well, that's what I was about to say is I actually have to give credit to Lee. So it wasn't until I was initially doing resin kits, right? And I was getting really frustrated with them, which we talked about. And then I started realizing, like, looking at Lee's work, because I was buying some of Lee's work. And when you have it in hand, you're able to study it, right? And sort of learn and see. And it's different from looking at images. And then by doing so, I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to try my hand at this. So I basically used his as a point of reference. So I would, place it, and then I would basically, whatever I needed to look at, I'd had it up close so I could take a piece, look at it, observe it, whatnot. And what was great was the one I purchased from him was completely built but was unpainted. So I was able to see everything clearly. Yeah, so everything was like visible, clear and visible. So I basically just mimicked what I saw and the way he did it. And then from there, as I continued building like the tie, and I think I did Jedi training remote, I basically just sort of got used to that very clean, meticulous style that he did. So I basically owe him most of the credit from the scratch build part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I was like when I started painting, I'd hide all my crimes with primer and try and just, get around it that way. But then after you've seen Lee's work in person, you're like, okay, that's what I need to strive for. That's
insane.
what I need to. Yeah, unbelievable. It's like, and guys as well, when you see them on the table at the Comic Cons and you're sitting there with them, you don't even want your models near theirs.
Yeah. There's even been some points where I was working on something and I would get frustrated because I'm like, how did he do that? How did he get it angled and so clean and so round? And I'd keep going and keep going and keep going. And I'm like, I eventually you get there, but it's just this, this thing where, some people can just do it and it's like second nature,
Yeah.
But I feel like if I didn't have those pieces in hand, what I am able to do today would be a lot different.
Oh, it makes it so much easier if you've got something in front of you that you can copy. I agree. But honestly, you're doing such a nice job. It's like you should show off more, but don't get as bad as me. Don't put everything all the time online and go, look what I've done. Look what I've done.
Even that helps. And then I've talked to Chris about it. He had said, his paint skills even improved as he started getting your pieces in hand when he was buying some of your pieces and getting them in hand. We had talked about this. We both talked about both build and paint, because when you have it in hand and you have that reference right in front of you, you can practice and sort of emulate it, and then not try to copy per se, but you're sort of learning some of the tricks and understanding it a little bit better. And then you can start to add that into your own style and your own work. And it's been a great help for sure. And I've really been enjoying it. But now I'm down the path where most pieces I work on now are just all scratch. They're just all scratch built.
It's the way to go. It's more fun. You feel more pride in it. It's a one-off, so no one can go, oh, where did you get that kit? You like,
Yeah.
You just end up just making your own.
But everything about it, the hunts.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
Yeah,
they really are, John. Those especially those first couple where you're showing like ILM techniques and stuff. That's honestly where I started. Like just doing what you did in those videos. If anybody wants to start painting, I really suggest going and just looking at that. That'll give you like a good baseline as how to paint like ILM. Honestly, Jason, show us your tie.
My tie?
No, Jason.
All right. Yeah.
He turns his camera off so we can't see his underwear.
Exactly that. Well, I just got some. I got some wires that I want.
His thong. He doesn't want to see his thong. But honestly, John, like before when I was doing resin models, I was like, okay, I hated doing all the cleanup and the getting them to where they're supposed to be, and I thought, kit bashing would be so much more work, and it is a lot more work, but it also is more rewarding, and it's also more. It's actually easier. I find it easier.
It's more crisp. It's more fresh. It's the way it looks like the ref pictures you're looking at, because it's the same. It's the same kit parts. It's it just works.
It might be more work to it. There's definitely 100% a lot more thinking and a lot more work to it, but than just slapping a resin kit together. But I find it easier than a resin kit.
Yeah, but what I can't do, and this is something that I need to learn. Like you look at like Lee mastering the Bill George Y-wing stuff like that. I can't work out the internal stuff. I can't. My mind doesn't work like that. I can see kit bash stuff, and I can see that part goes in that part and that part, but then I can't work out what's inside that's holding it all together.
That's where you contact me, because I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
I'm like, how does that work? That's why I'm building all of Marvin's stuff, because Marvin's done all the hard work. He gives you a box, a frame, a Star Destroyer bridge that just comes flat packed. He's like the IKEA of Star Wars modeling. He's like,
where's he from? The Netherlands? I never remember. Okay, show us, Jason. Show us.
All right. So it's still not finished. I'm trying to put some electronics inside, and some pieces are still kind of in place, temporary for paint purposes. But I don't know. Is it coming through okay?
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, that's scratch built, Jason? Yeah.
Most of it is, yeah. Most of the pieces are all scratch. I don't know. I tried to do some research on whether or not, I think this part, maybe the rod going through, maybe a little bit skinnier than it should be. So I had to do a little bit of mending and joining, in the middle. But I was trying to test out
Okay.
like the two-tone of the paints. I don't know if it's going to carry over.
Yeah, we
here.
can see it. We can see
Yeah.
it.
That looks
So it's going to
perfect to
carry
me.
over the coloring there. That's a little tough to see. And then what I did was some of the decals, I was able to find the original ones, pull them out of the kits and
Yeah,
put
yeah.
them down with the Goodyear and stuff like that. I don't have the other decals on just yet. I haven't, obviously, as you can see, it's not finished, but yeah. So this is basically, I'm still, trying to get this part, and
But
then
I don't. My mind doesn't work that way. I can't, like, the thickness of the bands that go around the edges, all that. Did you scratch all that as well? The rings.
Yeah, so there was actually a couple of casts that I came across. Supposedly they were lineage. I don't know. They may have gone back to Grant McCune. I don't know, right? It's one of those things where did they, didn't they? But they were really bad shape. I had those and I used those as reference. I didn't use them on the piece. And then a lot of it was just because I wasn't sure what some of the kits were. I started scratching them and then I started pulling them off and I started finding out like, oh, this is actually this piece. This is actually that piece. So like, you can see like all the different bits here and the guns. I'm trying to run wires through here, but the guns too are another thing where I thought, all right, these must come from a kit, right? Because I couldn't tell by the shape, but those actually had to end up scratch building. I was talking to Chris before we came on whether or not I was going to put the bulbs like in or out, because I think you just did one recently for Tony where it was pushed in, and I think that's a New Hope versus like ESB where they're fully like they're kind of tipped out. But yeah, and then just like all these parts here, like the tank parts and these bits, the tracks and all that.
The Panther Jeep tracks and all that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
so just figuring all these bits out and chasing them down. And what also helped was I was working on a Vader tie, but that was a resin kit, and a lot of the greebles are similar. So when I was working on the Vader tie and doing some research, that's when I was able to figure out like, oh, this goes here, this goes there. And what I did with the Vader tie was, although that was a resin kit, I shaved the whole thing down and put the actual.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so what I did was that's a mixture of like maybe 70% resin kit and about 30% donor parts. But this is the opposite. This is about 30%, sort of resin reference and base, and then 70% donor and build. So like even all these parts here and here, so it's for me it's blurry, so I don't know how clear you guys can see, but like all these bits are all added on. And then the color is interesting, right? Because it's Archive X. However, it's a bottle that Guy had sent me over quite a while back. And I don't know if he was like testing the colors or sort of messing about trying to get the colors right. So I have a current bottle of the Archive X Stormy Sea, and they're different. This is more of like
They are, yeah.
This is more of a gray versus the one now, which is a little bit more blue. And I had a undercoat where I did a few different and some swatches. I'd like to show this off more because I got the wings. The wings are done and they look amazing. And that I pulled all my car parts. All the
Tyrrell.
all the P34 and the 312B, all the brake pads and multiples of that, and built up all the wing wells. And I even had pictures. That's the thing. I got to get a picture. I even had pictures where, because the tie is just all in color, right? You don't get to see a lot of the detail. I even had pictures where like I would basically show like because the brake pads are chrome, so I would like show the half chrome and then the half Stormy Sea on the other side, so you can kind of see what it comprised of and what it was made out of. And then that was like a before and after, and then I finally threw all the paint on and painted it.
It's such an awesome job. Honestly, hats off to you, man. That's like,
thank you.
It's a lot of work.
It is, and I wanna do all original decals. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to. I try to track down as many as I can, but I do have a sheet. I think maybe you sent it over. One of Jason Eaton's decals that have all the
I sent you a sheet. Yeah.
So if I can't find all of them, I've tracked down a few through like the RPF and some of the other boards. If I can't find them, then I might just kind of go half and half, where half are original decals and then half are just
no one's gonna know, dude.
Yeah, well, when you do something original, you try to stick to that, and it's
The problem is that we know. That's the problem. Like,
yeah.
One sec, can I jump back on? I've got to make a phone call. 1 sec. Sorry.
Absolutely.
And then I still gotta mount it. So although I have this part open, I still gotta figure out a way to mount it.
Yeah, usually though, Jason, you start with the mount and build around the mount.
Well, yeah, I have it in such a way it's drilled out this way, and this way.
Okay.
But I'm just deciding, like, most ties they sit like this.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I want to mount it from the back or not.
Here's a question. Chris wrote, I know this may be a hard question to answer, but if someone wanted to try and build one from scratch for the first time, is there one that is easiest and or cheapest to start with? Can we say maybe the escape pods?
Escape pods, yeah.
There's no styrene with those though. It's not like you're building things with you. That's all kit parts. Like all the edge, all the around it. It's all.
I think the more important part of this question, Chris, is not necessarily easiest because they have varying levels of complexity. But at the end of the day, once you're scratch building something, no matter what you're scratch building, you're gonna have to tackle it one way or the other. I guess the bigger part of the question is the expense. Mm-hmm. One kit can be a couple $100s, and another kit could be thousands. And then there's the thing where, like, you may be able to build something like this isn't that expensive to build, okay? But it's tedious. It's very tedious because there wasn't, any pre-existing parts when you're starting to lay down the sheets of styrene. And just like we do on the ATST, you have to kind of mend them together so it looks smooth like this, to the point where you almost can't tell it's styrene. So when you build the ATST head, it almost looks like it was a pre-prepared box, right?
One piece.
Corners. Yeah, those rounded corners, and it looks like it was like, produced. So if you can find one where the kits are easy to obtain and you're not paying $150, $200 per kit, I think that's the best approach. But as far as like easy, I mean, they're all going to have their own way of approaching it.
John, maybe you might have an answer to this question. If you can see, I know this. What he's asking is there a kit? Is there a piece that is good for a starter to start scratch building? That is.
This.
That's exactly what I said. Yep.
This is like I've got one finished down the bottom there that I did, and this is definitely the way to go because apart from the 5/8 rads that you need to get the hulls for, you'll use those 8 rads up.
Oh yeah, 8 rads are on everything, everywhere, everything.
Fucking everything. It's just like as you said, it's the kit that keeps on giving, right? It's on everything. And that's exactly what the guys told me, Marvin, Guy, Lee, like everyone said at the start, if you see 8 rads cheap, get them because you will use them on everything.
I only have one, and I've barely used it yet so far. I've only scratch built.
So what you're saying, John, is total shit.
No. You're completely right. I've only scratch built 2 things, so it's not like I've really deep, got into doing it. But you're completely right. The 8 rad is everywhere.
Yeah. So that, I'd say the 8 rad. But the other version of that is the 323 or 322. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's got all the. That's it. But it's got the Ferrari hoods on it, isn't it? The 31B.
Yeah.
And you do not want to go and buy 5 of those because that's $1,000 gone straight away easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get a cast of those or get one printed. I don't know. But that, if you're going to ask my advice on what one to start on, I'd go with that Probe Droid pod, definitely.
Yeah.
The 8 rad version.
Yeah. Chris, hit me up. I'll talk to you about that then.
It starts to. I don't want to mislead anybody, but I feel like when you reach a certain point, right, and it's more about comfort versus skill. And I'll make my point. So when you reach a certain point, it almost becomes easier to scratch build something than it is to build a resin kit.
I was just saying that when you weren't here, I was just saying that to John. Yeah. It's more work. It's a lot more work. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's
different work. Yeah. I mean, then again, if you wanted to scratch build next week or something, that would be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
But if you bought a decent Salzo kit that works fine, go for it. That's great. But then something like the Y-Wing or like something that can be built up with like you can get the printed body off the Dave G files, you can get the head. Once you've got the basic shape, you can start adding kit parts on and just have a while of a time just plowing styrene on it.
Yeah. I've actually been looking at the Y-Wing thinking that I would love to do on scratch build.
It's it's good fun. They are nice.
Yeah. But they're 8 rad German tanks. Those that skate pod. There's a bunch of them. 5 of them, you said, right?
Yeah.
And they're basically just glued together, like around.
Yeah, they're not even trimmed. They're just glued. They're just glued together.
Yeah.
Well,
And again, they're done in the ILM Stormy Sea as well, the same color as the TIE fighters.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, that I didn't know.
And another thing that's interesting for anybody that's still curious, if you do want to try your hand at building something, another thing that tends to become easier. So when you listen to anybody talking about like IDing, right? It just seems so like how do they do it? How does their mind work that way? How is that possible? But let me tell you, when you start scratch building stuff and you start buying kits and you realize like this is from this kit, this is from that kit, the more you're handling the kits and the more you're looking at the pieces and the parts, you don't realize that how much, like John just mentioned, certain kits were reused over and over and over in different ways. Parts may have been cut down. They may have had, sort of edited in certain ways to fit the particular ship. But you start to pick up that ability to be like, oh, well, that's from that kit and that's from this piece. And then there's other elements, like if you're a World War II buff, then you notice, if you're into planes, if you're into boats, then you just notice it because a lot of the models are references of real world boats and ships. And so there's different elements that start to creep in. And that's why scratch building is so fun. So the resin kits are great, right? Because you get a nice piece, you paint it up, you're not spending months and months on it. But the scratch building isn't just about having the piece built from scratch. It's the learning process. It's going through the process of figuring it out, understanding it, and everything that sort of went into it and why. So you're getting that aspect of it that sort of adds a little bit more, and you tend to appreciate it in a different way.
Absolutely, and it's lighter, isn't it? The feel is completely different.
Yes, it feels very different.
Yeah,
I love picking up my ATST head. I love picking up the ATST head. It just feels much better than handling a big hunk. Like the resin kit one's not, it's the same size, but it's much heavier. It just I don't know. I handle my ATST head a lot just because I like the feel and it's the weight of it. It's much better.
Yeah, but I love. You hate this process, don't you, Chris? Of cleaning the flash off resin parts and stuff.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah. I don't like it either, really. But I like how resin works. I like how you can sand it. I like how you can just push your knife through it and clean the edge off. Yeah. Nothing beats styrene. You won't beat working with styrene sheets and original kit parts. But I love working with resin to a certain extent with the way you cut it and the way you can sand it and that sort of thing. Working with 3D printed stuff, it's like trying to carve glass. It's so
it
doesn't work.
It's like a windshield. It can kind of like hairline cracks or just kind of like spider veins out almost when you damage it.
Yeah, there's no give, there's no flex to it. People will say, it's because you're not using the right resin, it's because you're not using this stuff, this printed stuff. I've done so much like commission work with 3D printed stuff that I just like, I can't stand it. I can't stand working with the material. I understand I couldn't be doing the Neb B without 3D printing though. So I understand it's a
useful tool.
Yeah,
it's an essential tool. Yeah. It's an essential tool to the future of model making, 100%. But you can't just have a 3D printed X1 plonked on your desk, a 3D printed Y-wing plonked on your desk, and just accept that that's it now.
Yeah. It's not as forgiving.
It hasn't grown.
Yeah, and it's definitely not as forgiving either when you're working with it. One thing I was telling Chris was, I said, look, if I'm working with a resin cast and I'm dremeling and I'm shaving, I put a little like those lunch containers underneath, and I let it catch all the resin. And what I'll do is if I went too far or I damaged something, I gouged something, I'll drop a little epoxy man, mix it with the resin, and slap it on and sand it down, and boom, it's just an easy repair. I actually reuse the resin that I'm shaving off of it and put it back on.
that's recycling to the max. That's good.
But it works, and you make it smooth, and it's just one of those things where I think cast kits, despite having to clean the flash and put in all the work, they are a lot more forgiving than anything that's 3D printed. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got 3D printed stuff right in front of me, like this the Falcon turret and that sort of thing I'm working with. and it's beautiful to hold it. It's you can see it's been well made, but at any moment I'm panicking that it's going to just crack on me
Yeah.
or shatter.
Or if you drop it, if you drop
Yeah.
it, then
Yeah,
Yeah, I've only ever worked really with 3D printing just for like some greeblies, like on the sandcrawler I made. I haven't actually worked with any 3D printed kits at all. So
yeah.
I'm going to try my hardest to stay away from them, but we'll see. You know, eventually I'm sure I'm going to have to.
How's the crawler looking, Chris?
It's just skinned right now. I'm at that point where I'm ready to start cutting the panels and plopping them on. I have it skinned, and I want to build the inside a little bit also before and also I was trying to figure out how to do the cockpit because I want to keep it in kit parts. So I have to figure out how I'm going to put the kit parts in the cockpit and then put the walls on the outside and still keep it. Because what I have to do is I'm not going to leave it just styrene. I'm going to paint it like a light gray or a white primer because I don't want the styrene.
The cockpit, you mean?
No, the outside of the sandcrawler.
So you've got a contrast between the kit parts and the primer.
Yes. So, and I'm trying to figure out how I can do the cockpit with all the kit parts, but block it from when I paint it. The primer. I don't want to get the primer on the cockpit paint kit parts. So I'm at that point where I'm going to start cutting up. I was going to do that today. I decided, fuck it, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to stay home and cut up styrene all day long. So
nice.
Yeah.
But I've left the inside of that crawler bare, and now I'm panicking because now I'm going to try and lay it down with all the kit parts on the side of it and screw my arm up inside to try and get everything in line.
In the cockpit.
I'm going to have to lay down and try and get it looking right.
Yeah. Well, there's not really there's an opening inside, right? There's in the back. There's an opening that you could slide things through, right?
Yeah, I have to go through its belly. I can't go on the side
through the belly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. I have the whole front section not connected because I know I need to do a lot in the cockpit. So I just as of right now it's just clamped in place. So I just take it off and work with it. I don't want to like have to like stand it up on its back to plate the front. You know what I mean? So I have it in sections so I can work on it in parts.
You've introduced screws as well, haven't you? You've used screws on yours.
Yeah. I've screwed a lot of the frame together so that it stayed and was more solid. And then the whole front of it is going to be bolted through the holes that are in the wood.
I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done a similar thing because now I'm stuck in a place where, like Marvin was like, I said to him, how am I going to do the inside of the cockpit? Because he'd gone quite a long way, the same as mine, without doing the cockpit. And he just said, "You've got long arms, haven't you? You can just, you just go straight underneath and just like work it out."
I left the
again with the lighting. I wish I'd just done all the lighting and just.
I'm leaving the one side, the non-hero side off and getting all sliding the kit parts in from the side so that then I'll put the wall on once it's all.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Do it from enter in from the side and then
enter from the side. I got that idea from looking at Eric Choi's pictures because he left one of his sides off to get the cockpit. You could always, John, I know this might sound like a great idea, but maybe cut where the cockpit is on the non-hero side. You know what I mean? Where the opening is, cut it, and then put the piece. Oh, he's not. He lost us.
We lost him now. I think he's gone.
Yeah, but I mean, he's gonna paint his anyway, so he can just cut it and then put the pieces in.
Yeah, make a removable section. Place the bits in and
there he is. I think he's back.
Yeah, sorry,
John.
That went all quiet when I was in mid.
John, I was just talking to Jason. What if you were to take the non-hero side and cut where the cockpit's at, and then put all the pieces in, and then glue it back on? Because you're painting it anyways. You can glue it back on and hide all your.
Yeah, but I've plated the other side.
Yeah, but you can cut it and then just putty over those plates, maybe.
Yeah, I could do, but then I don't know. I don't want to putty over it. I think I think I'll be able to. I think I could get a lot of it done by squirming my arm up. It's like it'll be like trying to steal from a vending machine.
Just do us a favor. Do us video that whole segment. Okay.
Okay.
I want to see you like going like this, puppeting and cursing
Legs
the
in
whole
air,
time. Yeah.
I could put one of my kids in it and get them to do it. They'd work their way up.
Are
they small enough?
They'd work.
Yeah. Yeah, we still have a lot of people watching us. Brian just joined us. He's glad to have actually been able to join us for a live one. And there are probably a lot more people over where you're at are watching, because I mean it's 10 o'clock in the morning here, so most people are at work in the United States.
It's getting on for 3 now, so yeah.
Yeah, is it 3 o'clock? It's so funny. I gotta be honest with you, John. My wife, a lot of times I wake up in the morning, I have missed calls from you at like 6 a.m. and 5 a.m. and I'm like,
I can never work it out.
I told my wife the one time you called right at 7 a.m. and she's like, "Who is that?" I said, "It's John. He never remembers the time schedules." But no, it's okay because I have a do not disturb on my phone, so anybody who calls before 7 a.m. it won't go through unless it's like important people.
Oh, really?
Well, not that you're not important. Not that you're really not important.
Where's
my family members.
Allowance?
No, it's like my family members and kids and stuff. So
I got you. Yeah, sorry, dude.
But
it simply is just a fact of me, because you just like I type messages like to like my friends and Marvin and stuff, just thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just come up with an idea and I'll like message someone. And they're like, "Why are you messaging me this?" And I'm like, "Because I'm thinking out loud and I just want to just get it. I want to straight away have someone else's opinion of it. It's like I'm too insecure to, and I'm not confident enough to act on my actions. Like I have to have someone else's pat on the back, or they have to say, yeah, that's the right thing to do, John. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I can carry on there.
For me, it's I gotta text Jason so I don't forget, because I'll have something I want to talk to him about, and then 5 minutes later I'll forget what the whole conversation would be.
Literally.
So literally, it's not even a joke. But I can remember every kit part on that damn freaking ATST and other parts that other things that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Selective
It's like we've been
memory.
decorating at home, and like I'll paint at work on my models, and I'll paint doing this and that. I don't want to pick up a paintbrush and a roller at home. I don't want to do that.
My wife has been after me for about 2 years daily to paint my kitchen. I don't want to fucking do it.
But the display room and the collector's room.
Look at this.
Always pristine.
She says to me, "You work so much on that damn basement, like new shelves, new this, arranging it, but I can't get you to do the kitchen." I always say, a gynecologist don't want to come home and look at, so I don't want to come home and work on construction. You know what I mean? So it's just not what I want to do. I do it all day long, so I don't want to do it at home. I want to paint models, So.
Oh man. Well, that's just what we're like. But like, so what have you got on the shelf then, left, Chris? You've got cloud cars coming out your ears.
Cloud cars.
A-wings still.
No, A-wings are gone. I got cloud cars, ATST, the Sandcrawler. Eventually I'm going to do the Merlin AT-AT for me and Steve. There's the one thing that I got plexiglass for that I don't want to talk about yet until it goes further. Too many projects. I used to be pretty laser focused and just work on one at a time.
Yeah.
But which is what I prefer. I want to do it. I want to get it done and move on to the next thing. Like just keep my mind on one thing.
Yeah.
But you just run into so many things where you don't have this part, or you don't have this information or this picture, or whatever the case.
You need a backup project to go to if one of them stalls.
And now it's turned into like 4 or 5 different backup projects because every single project hits roadblocks. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a resin kit or a scratch build kit. You're gonna run into a roadblock. And me personally, I can't just. I'll just work on that later. I gotta have one that I'm working on at a certain time every time. Like that's my my relaxation. Even though it gets frustrating and I get aggravated and yell and scream but it's what I look forward to all day long to come home to do. Like I told you, I have almost 4 weeks off in the end of December and January. I plan on doing nothing but modeling. You know,
Yeah,
I could be doing kitchen
you're gonna get
cabinets.
stuff done then, man.
I hope to. I hope I don't run into too many roadblocks. But
No.
and I also have a Razor Crest I have started that I just don't know when I'm ever gonna get to. So, how many projects you got sitting? Yeah, the big one. Yeah.
So
You probably have like a ton of projects.
Well, I finished the Star Destroyer bridge, so that's a big tick off the list.
It's completely
the Star
finished.
Destroyer bridge. Sorry.
It's completely finished.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I haven't posted any finishing like images of it, but it's. Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah, sure. Grab it.
Nice.
We got a viewer from Brazil. Nice. Welcome. You know, I was telling my wife the other day, like, it's just strange how we talk to people that are all over the world, and that looks gorgeous.
That's fantastic, John.
That's amazing. Wow.
Oh, that's
freaking beautiful.
I wouldn't mind actually doing one of those.
Wow.
Yeah, you need to speak to Marvin and get yourself on this.
Those radar, what are they? Radar bells, or what do they call those circles?
Radar dishes, yeah, they
Radar
were
dishes.
hard work.
Those included.
Those are beautiful, John. You did an amazing job on those.
They were
Yeah,
they were a labor of love. They really were. And then this bit just comes off the top, and then you can work on the rest. But I'll put that down for a second. Like this bugger was.
Wow.
Love it. Yeah, I love it.
I'm so glad you kept that kit parts.
So no, these blocks. So you can see underneath, these grey blocks are 3D printed, and then everything white on it is obviously styrene, and the rest are all everything else is kit parts.
So that's why I think it's important sometimes to document, because, like you said, when you see a finished piece, even though it's unpainted, it goes together differently than seeing the process and the step. You know, the step through of how it got so. You know, like it looks like it came off a manufacturing line, like it came from a mold or something. You know, it just looks clean, neat, and perfect, and showing that step one through whatever. I think is a good approach. Yeah, but that came out beautiful, John. Really,
that is insane, John.
Yeah, it was down to you guys really that made me keep it in kit parts, because like you spend all this time making something and then you just slap primer over it, and you can't tell if that's what kit came from what and all that sort of thing. Whereas that Star Destroyer has had so much going on it that keeping it in original kit part color looks pretty cool.
That I really do think that like everybody should, if you're doing a lot of modeling, you really should try to keep at least one piece as kit parts. You know, just to get how it, like, just to show. I like showing people that what they are, because I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who you talk to them about this and they're like, are you even like this model shop that I go to, he's like, I cannot believe that the Millennium Falcon is made up of tanks and airplanes and race cars. Like, it's just, people have no idea, and they're when you tell them that, they're kind of blown away. And at least like I'm gonna keep the Sandcrawler as a kit parts. You have to kind of pick one that looks really good as kit parts, but that turned out freaking amazing, John. That's
well, that's down to Marvin for making the base. I mean, it's he did the base for the Sandcrawler. I think he's doing one on the Falcon soon. He gives us this opportunity. He takes all the legwork and the hard work out of the structure building, and then it's down to us to find all the kit parts and make it a true scratch build. So thanking him profusely. But Lee Stringer as well. He's a phenomenal model maker, and he has helped me. I piss him off something rotten. I'm like, Lee, I'm so close to finishing this Star Destroyer. I can just see this part that you've used, and I can't find it in any of my battleships. And he's like, that's the Misashio, that's the Shinano, that's that. And I'm like, of course it is, I've got it. And you can go back to your stash and grab it, and you come back with this, like, if you coughed, it would disappear in your room, but it's that tiny little piece that makes all the difference on the end of some crocodile part or something on it. It's and then just think that's just the bridge, right? You think how big the rest of the 8 foot ESB Star Destroyer. It's
when are you gonna build the rest of it?
No. I'll do something. I'll do something stupid like the Neb B.
No, see, okay, so now the bridge and the Star Destroyer is something I can kind of understand. That you just do the bridge. That's cool. You do the bridge. The rest of it is just so insane that it's impossible.
Well, the bridge is self-explanatory too. You know what it is when you're looking at it.
Yes. But like the Neb B, you have to do the back. You can't not do the back.
Yeah. I've got to work out what's going on in that pole as well. There's loads of kit parts going around that pole that doesn't make it round anymore. It makes it sort of like this, kind of like blocky.
Why is this not showing up here? Add stream. Okay, so I like going back to the Neb B. I went in the Chronicles pictures.
Yeah.
Just to show the back a little bit.
There's your 7 Sat Vs.
Yeah, there they are. With the lights.
So they're Sat Vs, and then there's like cones that come out of the Sat V, and I'm not sure if that's the. I haven't actually looked, to be honest, that far into that rear part, but I think they're like flanges that are reversed and flap round onto the Sat V that the halogens go into. It's not quite just as simple. Typical ILM. It's not just as simple as just sticking 7 Sat Vs in the back. There's some other stuff going on.
That piece is on every model too. That's
the Nebel. Was it never Werfer, or it's on ATST?
I can't pronounce that word.
Yeah, it's on there. I just got the kit yesterday. But there's so much to this thing. Like, and they're good. These are good pictures in the Chronicles I wanted to bring just to show some of the stuff. Like even the back here is just insane. A lot of styrene, a lot of kit parts.
Yep.
The more
good. Sorry, Jason. They added the Neb B back in, didn't they? So they released a version of Empire without the originally without the shot of the Neb B. Then they added the shot and put it back in, and and that's what Charlie Bailey says in the Blu-ray extras, that the film was out in the cinemas. The people were watching the film, and then they did the Neb B, filmed it, and put it in for a longer scene at the end.
Crazy.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one picture back here I want to show. I did send it
to Chris, but he's probably sleeping.
Nope. I was sleeping. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I plan on it.
Looking at this, it reminded me what I was going to say was that, learning the scratch build process, initially going in, being very green and immature about it, I just assumed, obviously, surfaces, things like that, styrene, scratch build, plaster, but anything that took on even the slightest shape, I just assumed, it comes from a kit. And there were times where I'd be looking for things and trying to figure things out. And I'd be like, why would they take the time to scratch build this? Because it's too unique of a shape. And then you start to realize, like, they really did scratch build a lot of stuff and shape a lot of stuff. And this is a perfect example, looking at that backside, how, going in, you would just assume, wow, that's a lot of kits. But, it's maybe half kits and all just half done by hand.
They sculpted that whole front section, that whole, that buck that's like 17 inches long or something, or I think it's 438 millimeter. There you go. And they sculpted that by hand, then vac formed over it. It's like, it was a quick model done, well, but
quick model.
People think that was done in 24 hours. It wasn't. It was not done in. It was like, I think it was 24 hours building, then 24 hours painting or whatever. It certainly was done quick, but I don't think it was quite as quick as people think it was.
I can't imagine that they built this thing in 24 hours. Like, that's insane.
the welding of the armature,
the
the sculpting of the buck, the vac forming, the plating, the letting the glue dry for the kit parts, even the painting of it after it's done, the filming of it is all that can't be done in a day and a night.
No. Just all the different plates and different colors in here, and wow, you're gonna be pulling your hair out, John. It's gonna be a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
So
this is a
what
stats factory.
what makes me like not concerned, but on the top of that buck there's the Harrier part. Was it Harrier on the front?
Yeah,
there?
it was Harrier.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then behind the Harrier there's like a round. Yeah,
This one.
there's that. And then on top of that there's another round part.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they are yet. I don't know if they're kit parts or if they're vac formed things laying around the floor or something they sculpted for it. And above that, there's a U-boat right on top. That's the boat you're getting for me, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sitting on top. That's
This one up top here.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, the one, yeah, underneath it, I think that's the Intex rocket, actually. You didn't think it was, did you? You were like, that's too proud to be the Intex rocket. When I put it up on, yeah.
Which one?
That's it, yeah.
The space shuttle. The space shuttle. Yeah.
And then I trimmed off the bottom, and it had exactly the same profile. And I was like,
oh, did it? Okay, good.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
You know,
yeah, the way you had it and sent it to me, it just looked like it was too flat. But then, like you said, you cut some of it off, and it worked out the right profile.
Yeah, I trimmed it down, and it seemed to work. You know, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. If it looks right and it's in the right dimensions,
yeah, you'd be hard pressed. We always say this: you're probably more right than wrong, and you know, like I'm sure there might be somebody who can say, "Hey, what that is," but you may never find out. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop at that point of the build and wait 2-3 years until someone IDs it, or I do. I'll use it and just carry on. You know,
right. And all this stuff going in the front here, man, John.
So it's not just a simple case of being a buck. Underneath it, there's 2 U-boats each side of it that have been blended in, and a Shinano hull, or Yamato Shinano. They're all the same hulls. Underneath, blended in as well.
Where, here or on the other side?
If you can you go back to Jim's pictures, to Jim Creedling pictures?
Yes, I can go. I can do that.
You will see underneath his buck that he made. There's each side of it a U-boat, and underneath of it the hull of
Are these?
Shinano. See, it's all blended in.
Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a U. It's the same the other side, and underneath there's a fin. Can you see that fin? There you go. There's a good one. That shows the boat underneath, and when that's all smoothed in. There's very, very rarely did ILM do stuff like that.
Wow.
Where they created the shape and molded it all in and filled it and sanded it and smoothed it all out to make a like main hull of a ship.
Wow.
And then again, it's not as simple as just sticking that hull on. He trimmed like an inch all the way around the top of it, and then put it on.
Yeah.
And again at the back, that grey one that you can see at the bottom, that goes further back. So he sawed it off as well. The hull gets sawn
right here.
Yeah, that goes much further back on the kit.
You're a better man than me, brother.
Yeah, the more now I'm talking about it, the less I'm like that excited about doing it.
The more you're talking about the less you feel like doing it.
Less excited I am about doing it now.
Oh man, I would be really excited to get this. I don't know. I'm too impatient to like. I would want to I'd be working on this all day long. It's just so much information and so much work that it would drive me nuts that it's not finished. I know that.
See that scoop at the bottom? That's the Harrier. No. Keep going back.
The Harrier's here.
No, underneath as well. That's the F-14 Tamiya. 1/32 kit. That's got that in it.
The
And that's
scoop
also
underneath.
Yeah, you see it? It's got like a look there. That's it with the scoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that bit. That's Shinano.
Okay.
Keep going back.
So this way.
So
No, right in the middle, Chris. Right.
right in
This.
the middle. That,
Oh, okay,
that's
yeah,
it. Yeah, that's from the 132 Tomcat. I think it's Tomcat F-14.
Oh, okay.
Kit.
Okay. Yeah, I have 4
But again,
kits for you.
that kit's so expensive, and there's like 2 or 3 of those on the kit, and then you've got the version that's the Return of the Jedi version that's got more parts on it, and
Hold on.
that's got like the NPC Slave 1 wings on it and stuff.
So wait a minute. There was a Jedi version of this Neb B?
Yeah. So what's sitting in the archives now is the Jedi version.
Oh, okay.
With the additions to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that I did not know.
There's not a drastic. It's not that different. So
I really just thought there was one.
yeah, there's only one Neb B, but it just adds some additions added to it for.
Oh, okay. They used the same ship. They just added stuff.
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Okay.
That looks
now I
like
understand.
that image right there looks like Dark Crystal. The guy.
Skeks is what they called it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other
If
ones.
it's any hard to find kits, hit me up. Chris knows by now. I'm like the kit whisperer because he's not good at like searching.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's horrible, but I know how to put in all the keywords and like pop kits up left and right. And he's just like, "How'd you find that?" I'm like, "You got to do the right searches."
I go on eBay
well,
and if it doesn't
I'll definitely
pop
ask you,
up,
Jason, because I'm always after kits.
I go on eBay and if I type it in, it doesn't show up. It doesn't exist.
He's like, "It's not there." I'm like, "I just found 5 of them."
Yeah,
It's
he
like
finds them on the internet.
It's like the Bandai Panther, isn't it? It's if you go in under Fuman or Fuman or whatever it's called, you'll get it and that sort of thing. So
Yeah, that's what I got. I got a Fumin one, but I still need a lot more.
Yeah, I got a bunch.
that's
of
Jim's build. That's if I can get it looking half as nice as that, I would be over the moon.
That is bananas. Look at that. Wow.
That is a lot of work, brother.
It gets it really humbles you because whenever you start to think like, oh, I'm getting pretty good at this, I think I got this down. You're just like, I'm nowhere near this.
No, that's what I was saying.
I'm about to just throw that TIE fighter away now after seeing this.
I couldn't possibly think about tackling this thing. I just
It's
no
not.
way.
It's crazy. But when you've got the buck and you've got all those ship hulls, you just have to reverse. The building of it, and you can work it out.
First engineer.
And obviously, the help of everyone else has gone way before me. That, like, I've said this, I can't reiterate this enough. That we are just standing on the shoulders of these quiet giants that have gone before us. That are modest. They don't say anything. They don't shout about their work like I do. They don't try and shove everything down everyone's throat like I do on Facebook and say, "Look at me." These guys are unsung heroes that just they'll help you out as well. They'll always give you some tips. But as you said on the other show, you've got to learn how to do it yourself. They won't hold your hand through the build, and they won't do a paint in numbers on how to paint something.
Right.
You've got.
I think a lot of people don't understand that. We were talking about that before, and I didn't as well. I'm just as guilty. Like they want you to learn it yourself, so they're not probably because they don't want you bugging them all day long. You know what I mean, but
it hasn't stopped me. I'm still bugging everyone.
It's the whole like teach a man to fish, approach where it does make a difference. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm able to do today if somebody just kept saying, "Hey, grab this, grab that. This is the answer to this. This is the answer to that." If you don't start figuring it out on your own, it's just like anything else. It has, even outside of the studio skill stuff, it's much easier to learn. If you get a few tidbits, it puts you in the right direction. But once you're on that path, you start to figure things out on your own.
Yeah, don't you remember, John?
Look on that table, Chris. Look what's on the table.
What, here, down here?
That paintball.
What is it?
Blow quill, look.
Oh yeah, the original focus. Yeah. Don't you, John? When I first started, I was hitting you up. I'm like, well, what's this? What's this? What's this? And you were very good about telling me, what. And a lot of times you were wrong. I would buy the kit, and I'm like, it's not in here. and you're like, oh, I think that actually
I
might be this
remember
kit.
that. You're like, I
Yeah.
bought this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
he
we even had a
maybe by one donor kit, the bastard.
No,
Well,
it was
we
more
had-
than
we had a
one. It
conversation-
was a bunch.
We had a conversation about it once, John, and we were wondering, we were like, is he wrong and doesn't know, or is he just like, because you're catching him in a moment where he's busy and he's just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it might be this, I'll talk to you later. Not
It's
thinking
probably
that he
this.
can run out and get that kit. But because Chris is so impatient, if you tell him that just in the moment, I think it might be this, just shooting off the top of your mind until you get
I'm
a
on
chance to
eBay.
look at
1
it.
second
Nope.
later, buying it.
Yeah, he goes and buys the kit right when you say it. And then you
Yeah.
get a chance to sit down and you're like, oh, mate, it's this piece. I remember now. And then, he's like,
Yeah.
all right.
I was most likely wrong.
But like, you get people who write you and they're like, well, what's this? Well, what's this? What's this? And you want to help, but you also want to help them figure things out on their own. Because
I did.
in all honesty, if I didn't work these things out on my own, I wouldn't be nearly as good of a modeler as I am today. Like,
no, you need to make all the mistakes. You need to fuck up so
Yes.
many builds just to
Yeah.
work out what you're doing.
Well, that's where the confidence and comfort comes from. The messing up is when you realize, like, oh, I can break this and repair this and paint over this. Like, that's when you start to realize it's okay to damage things and mess up on things and pull things off. And that's what builds up the confidence and also the comfort is when you mess up. If you don't mess up, then you're going to be afraid to approach it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm regarding me being wrong, Chris. I'm always wrong a lot. And I remember at a Comic-Con, we were sitting down with all our models, and I was with Guy and Lee, and I was very green back then, and I just copied what they did basically, and just learn how to do it that way. And then some guy, I think it was from Fantha Tracks. Have you heard of Fantha Tracks?
Yep.
Yeah. He came over and he was like, oh wow, these models are fantastic. And I was like standing up, and Guy was sitting down eating some chips, I think. And he goes, can we do an interview with you? And I was like, yeah, that you've chosen like the one that doesn't know anything about. And then I just remember Lee and Guy just looking at each other, giving themselves a look like, what the fuck is John saying? Because he's just talking out of his arse now. They're like, so what kit's this from? And I was like, that's a Ferrari. And it's like, that Ferrari is like an Entex Ferrari that costs $2,000. And like, Guy's like, that's a fucking Porsche. What is he like? What?
That's a $40 Porsche.
And then the interview came out like online, and that is all bullshit and like in print, just like me just spouting like nonsense,
We're gonna post that to the group. I always tell Chris, I said, based on some of the relationships and the rapport that we built, I said, I think we did pretty good. I said, you talk to John pretty often. And I said, you get a lot of great reference and detail on what he's building and the paint. And I said, and I get to talk to Lee often. So I was like, I never run into any roadblocks. I need to know what parts are. Because Lee's just like a Wikipedia,
Oh, yeah. He's and he doesn't get thanked enough. People like, all the 3D printing a lot and that are just churning cash out from these kits now. I don't think they even stop for 1 second to consider when they like backpedal back to the RPF and just see everyone IDing these, like Lee and like all the guys. Like there's a guy that's done, see, I'm ignorant now, I'm really stupid for not saying who did all the hard work on the Neb B. I think it's Kill Billy, I think his name was on the RPF, but he ID'd tons of the medical frigate, and I wouldn't even be able to buy one of these kits now if it wasn't for these guys back in the day on the RPF doing that. You need to give credit where credit's due, you really do.
Yeah, like the ATST. Like there's a bunch of people went into IDing all those parts, and now everybody's making them. We were talking about that the other day, and it wouldn't be possible without those people. Just on that PDF, that blueprint. There's Lee, there's Jason Eaton, there's Quincy, and pardon me if I don't remember.
Lee and Lassie, they're all. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Speaking of Lassie,
anytime you say Lee, there's always like, well, which one? Because there's
Lee Stringer, Lee, both of them. Lee Stringer, Lee Ralph.
Yeah, Lee Stringer did a ton on the Star Destroyer bridge, and so did Marvin as well. But there's IDing like on the Neb B, a massive great hull, I wonder what that is. It's not. I've got the other 7, but it's not that one. So that knocks down, as a process of elimination of what kit to buy. When you're looking at a part that won't even fit on a match head on the Star Destroyer, and they're IDing that, and they've got 6 different battleships or 12 different Tamiya 1700 battleships, and it's not in either of them. That's what blows my mind. It's like you can only see it under a magnifying glass. This kit part,
You're right. There's one thing to apply logistics to it, where like, okay, well, it's a car part, so I can narrow it down to this, or this, right? Because it's going to, you start to narrow down. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at pieces that are minuscule, or like I say to Chris all the time, a piece that's originally like this, but they cut it down and they only use this much of it. It's like, well, how did you figure out that they cut this whole thing down and only took this from it? And that's where I think too, where some of the frustrations come in, where they're like, oh, well, just share all the information. Well, it's like, well, this is a decade plus of their time that that they've invested in this. And you're right. I think not enough credit is due, where people just are, printing up kits now and making.
I'll honestly tell you, I was guilty of that. Okay, I was definitely guilty of like why don't they just tell me what it is? Like, and I didn't understand, but as I've gotten to know people and gotten more deeply into this, I now understand. Okay, it's somebody put a whole lot of hard work into this. Okay, and if somebody's just gonna take that and just piggyback off of somebody and just make money off of that, off somebody else's hard work, it's not a form of entitlement.
It's sometimes weeks of searching for kits. It's weeks for looking through
years,
kit scans, and then someone finds it, and then as you say, great, we've got that part now. We'll add it to our list, and then make a model out of it for people.
Yeah. And as for like finding that little match head piece, okay, it also takes a little bit of experience also to get your eyes trained to look for that as well. Because you could look at a kit part and look through a kit's, a whole kit, a model kit, and you're like, okay, that part's not in here. It's not just right there on the sprue. You actually have to train your eye to look at a part and say, okay, if I cut this, trim this, if this is sliced off, that could possibly be it.
That's a big
it takes experience and time to figure that. It took me a while to figure that out.
But even pieces that are cut down, I just did 2 nights ago. I just had, I think Johnny responded to, where Stuart was looking for the 312 BP piece, and I'm like, I got a couple 312Bs. I'm like, I got one that's not even open. I was like, hey, Stuart, I got one for you. And then I'm opening up the kit and I'm looking through, and I text him and I said, but I don't think you get the right kit. And who am I to tell Stuart he's wrong, right? So I don't think you get the right kit. What I didn't realize was and the piece wasn't edited or cut down. What I didn't realize was the piece was yay big and I couldn't see it. And he's like, oh, it's, sprue this, piece that. And I'm looking, I'm like, this little thing? And he's like, that's it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, there it is. I got it for you.
It's crazy. I mean, and that's on a 5-foot Falcon,
Yeah, and that's exactly the thing is smaller than my fingernail. Maybe it's smaller than my pinky nail. If you drop that on the rug, you're done. It's gone.
Speaking of that, John, I got a kit for you the other day, and I forget which one it was, but a lot of the pieces inside were open, they were off the sprue. Okay, and the box was like bent up and open, and not open, it was sticking out. So as it turned, pieces started coming out into the bubble wrap. So I'm delicately trying to get everything. I'm gonna put it all back in the plastic bag so no parts missing. And I had it in the garage.
Dude, I appreciate your help.
And my wife she comes in the house and she looks at the counter and she's like, "What is that?" It's like this tiny little airplane that is the size of a small spider. Okay, and she's like, "Is that a spider? Is that a spider?" I'm like, "No, it's a kit part." And I'm looking at it, and you could barely see that it's an airplane, but it was.
Yeah, that's how small they are. But I mean, that's I would have been after the hull, Chris. So it doesn't matter. It's the big hull for me. That's why I need it. So don't worry.
Well, yeah. What's gonna happen though is you're gonna be looking for it. You're like, dude, is it on your floor? Somewhere on your floor to check your vacuum.
I've actually done that a few times. I've
Yeah.
gone through the vacuum canister and been like, all right, here's this piece, there's that piece. Because
Well,
like
a lot of
if I
times-
put something on a rug, it's gone.
A lot of times I'll drop a piece and I can't find it. Like in my garage, I can't find it anywhere. I'm looking with a flashlight and this and that. And you know, like there's shavings and stuff on the floor that I sweep up every other day. As soon as I drop something and I can't find it, I'm sweeping it into a pile, all the dirt and shavings into a pile, and that's when I can find that little tiny piece.
The carpet monster gets it.
Yeah. Well, this is on a concrete floor, so it's like it's just after it's in a pile,
grey,
I can find it.
The floor's always grey, and the kit part's always
Oh, yeah.
grey. It's
Oh,
never
it's
like
always
luminous
so
yellow.
the floor wherever you're working, the floor is always the color of the kit part.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If you're working
So
on the
annoying.
counter that's black and the piece is black, yeah, it's always.
It
the way
never
goes.
fails that the little piece that you're trying as hard as you can not to like drop or lose, or it'll fling all the way across the room. Like it's just
Oh, you're surprised at how far they bounce. I've even had
they
times
do.
pieces so small I've glued them to my hand. I'm like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And I'm like, oh, I've had that.
I
happen
had
too
that.
many
Look,
times.
I had that on this exact this build on the start on the domes around the top.
The little antenna pieces.
Yeah.
They're from the Misashi, I think.
oh my
And
god.
there's like you need like 12 of them, and I think there is like 12 in a kit, and they're tiny, so you need to make sure that you get every one. And
That would suck.
and again, one of them pinged across the room. And I was like, no, that's like the last one. But luckily, you need like I think I needed the Musashi kit again for like an antenna or something. So I got the one piece out, like the next kit that I had. But it's typical, you know. It's like sod's law. That's going to happen.
That's funny. Trials and tribulations, huh?
Yeah.
That's the good stuff, though. That's what makes it all worth it. That's what makes that's when you're done with the piece, and that's what really gives you the appreciation for it.
Yeah.
I tell you though, I was, some of the things I was guilty of was originally going further back. Was when you see a finished piece, as much as you can admire it, like wow, that's cool, that's awesome. You don't have the same appreciation for it until you understand all that went into it. Not only for the person who made it for you, but even back then and how they came up with these ideas and how they even, logistically decided like this is going to go with this to complete this and make this.
Yeah.
It really is fascinating on so many different levels.
It is.
Is it all just laying there, John? You don't have anything glued together on there, right?
Oh,
Nothing.
that's all just taped up. I think the hulls all still need to be trimmed. Not only at the back, they need to be trimmed up and down. Some of them as well. That was literally just plonked on the table just to see how I was
Get an
doing.
idea. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. I can't wait to see it finished.
See, that's the rocket on top. You see it right at the top, the white one.
Yeah, the white one. Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
Entix rocket shaved down. I shaved it down, and it's
Yeah.
Oh, it is perfect. Yeah. Fits
it
right
doesn't
on.
look too bad.
No.
See it go.
So is Marvin building one as well, or is he just like helping you along?
Yeah, I need Marvin to do it before me because I need to copy what Marvin does. Like
That's why your sandcrawler's at the point that it's at, right?
exactly. He's like,
Yes.
I'm gonna stop here now. I'm like, don't stop there. That means I have to stop there.
Yeah. But does Marvin?
If
What
I
does
can get
Marvin
anyone
do
to
with his?
work along with me on the build, that's I need as many people as I can because it all helps out. I'm not very good at doing this alone.
Does Marvin keep his as a collection, or what does he do?
Yeah, I think he's got most of his stuff. I think he sells stuff
Yeah.
from time to time, but
Yeah.
again, I would pay twice as much for his starter kits because the time and effort is one thing. Okay, people might moan and say, "Oh, this is too much money for some laser cut MDF," that I could do. And you're like, yeah, you go and try it. What you're getting is just halved your build time and halved your energy and stress and working out angles and all that sort of thing. It's worth twice as much as what he sells it for because you're saving yourself just everything. You can just crack
You
on.
couldn't do it without that. Like
No.
you couldn't do it without. Like I know I couldn't do a sandcrawler without Marvin's kit.
No way.
No way. I could build a wooden box, but I'm sure it's not the right size. The the time and effort it takes to measure those kit parts in reference to the whole thing is invaluable. You know, like
100%. Yeah.
It helps you. You know, I would pay for that too. I did.
Well, it does. It eliminates a lot of the R&D that you would have to do yourself. But it also, as you mentioned, John, when you have a variation of people building in tandem, if everybody's working on schematics or the exact same size, it also better helps with IDing pieces as like, here you're laying pieces on. Does this fit? Does this go? Does this match? Oh, well, this is too big in contrast, so this should be shorter or longer. And I think when you have something that's more exacting and somebody's already cut all that work out for you, it allows for a better build overall, either personally or as a group.
Exactly. It's like Guy's paint at Archive X. Guy has got you the correct paint. Yeah, everyone could spend ages mixing Tamiya up or Humbrol or whatever they choose, or Vallejo. But they've now got this witch's brew of paint that they've mixed up, and all power to them. If they want to do that, that's absolutely fine. It's their model. They will paint it the way they wanted to paint it. But I personally will buy the correct color that ILM used that was done by Floquill. It's done for me. I can just get on to what I love doing. Yeah. I don't often hear people say, you know what, I'm going to go home tonight and mix and paint. I'm going to go home and paint and use the model, use the paint that's provided for me.
That's true. Yeah, there's certain things that, as fun as the learning process is and as great as it helps you understand and become a better builder, I think there are other elements that you do need that extra help and shortcut to, eliminate some of the frustrations and just the time involved.
Exactly. It's just thinking. It's thinking
like
smarter.
Work smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly. Yeah. There's one of yours that you want to do, Chris, right? That's
Home One.
Home One, yeah.
Oh, I love Home One. The other color scheme,
that's
though.
the MC80, though, isn't it? That's the That's Home One didn't have wings. Is that correct?
No. Home One didn't have wings, and it has a bluish. Let me see if I could get to it. Easier just to go in this file. Yeah, Home One is one of my favorites. I would love. I don't want one as big. It's gonna take me a while to find it.
You can have my kit of it, Chris, if you want my I've got the MC80, haven't I? That's right.
Oh, do you? How big is it?
It's this big.
Oh yeah, that's
nice.
Perfect. Nice size.
Yeah, this is that's the old Underground one.
Oh, nice.
Long out of production now.
Absolutely.
We can talk about
my son. My son has the same T-shirt as you. the except his has a little paw going. It's exactly what he has. Yeah.
I'm down with the kids. I'm down.
You are down with the kids.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, listen, guys, Jason, Chris, I've got to shoot. I've got to get back to my real life and not play. I actually do as
well, and I've been putting it off as long as I possibly can. I really,
it's been fun. Same here. I'm in the 11th hour, so I appreciate your time, John, as always.
Yes,
thank you for coming on, man, and sharing some of that info with us and the watchers.
Oh, sorry, hold
on. It's been fantastic, man. It's always a pleasure, and I always love learning about what you're working on and seeing some of the stuff that you worked on in that Y-wing again. Congrats!
Thank you, dude. Yeah, no, well, that's I've got to thank the other people that hooked me up. It's Lee, it's Guy, it's Alex. All those. I couldn't have done anything like this without those guys. So yeah.
I think
thank you to you guys.
I think it's all one big team effort, and I think even you, Chris, sometimes as involved as we get in this. I think sometimes I get to be more conscientious of giving thanks as well, because I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for someone like yourself or Lee or even Guy at times. It's one giant team effort, it's a great it's a great thing and a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, take care, guys, and I'll speak to you like in 10 minutes and ring you at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Chris.
Well, John, we're gonna make this like an every other week thing. So like in 2 weeks,
I'll jump on when I can, dude.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely get you on every chance we can. Thanks, brother.
See you later on.
See ya.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Good show, man. Good shit.
Yeah,
lots of cool
definitely.
talk. 2 hours. That's a long show.
I know. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that, but I'll always
People are
take it.
calling me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
5 minutes.
like
Well,
I'm like hang up. I'm hanging up on my boss.
yeah.
I'm not.
And
It's fun.
even though we were talking about just giving thanks, I didn't want it to seem intentional, but definitely hats off to Jason Eaton because he was definitely played a pivotal role in helping me go in some different directions and at
Oh
least
yeah.
steering me the right way and
There really
you
are
know,
a couple people that I'm sure there are people that I don't know, but the people who I do know, like Jason Eaton, John Lee, they're so instrumental in everything that we've been doing. They really are, and honestly, we couldn't do any of this without learning from them and
oh
talking
yeah.
to them. And it's just, I'm so thankful. Like we have this channel, okay, and we do a lot of things and we meet a lot of people, and I'm so incredibly thankful. That's the best part about this channel. It's not the collection that I could. It's great, but the relationships that we have made are invaluable. We've talked about this many times. Like there's been times where, we thought, do we want to keep going with the channel? Do we want to, and things have slowed down at certain points and, everybody has their lives. But the main reason that I keep doing this channel is because of the relationships I've made and the relationships that I will make in the future,
Yeah, there's been a lot of great
and
ones for sure.
it's honestly like the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Jason Eaton, John, I've made so many friends on top of learning from these monsters, that it's just, and even people in the group, like Chris, he just reached out at Clear Blue and he's like, hey, I could get you some acrylic, it's just, it's
It
been
does.
great.
The relationships do help and they go a long way. And sometimes to some people, I know it's second nature. Like if you hit somebody up and it's just like, oh yeah, no big deal, here you go. But they don't realize, how impactful or how helpful some of those things can be
Extremely.
at
Yes.
times. And I personally never want to seem, ungrateful or make it seem like I take for granted, what people are willing to do and what they're willing to put forth. And then I'm also very conscious when I pay that forward. I work on a lot of projects, as you know, behind the scenes. And I always try to make it a point to say, hey, although I'm able to help you with this and assist you with this information or these details for whatever it may be, it's not coming directly from me. It's coming from a tandem of people.
But
And
also we also, I don't want people to think that we're not willing to share something, but there are a lot of times where there's information shared from somebody who we don't want to step on their toes and
yeah, yeah.
give out what they've worked hard for. You know what I mean? It's just it's not that we're being standoffish or snobby or don't want to tell
Yeah, you're not
people.
purposely being difficult.
No.
And I say all the time, if it's something that, like you've done a lot of work on quite a few things, the style specifically, and it's one of those things where like if you had taken the time and you've done it and you discovered a lot of it and you're more than happy to share that info and same here. Like if there's things that I know, like, hey, I took the time to go through this and figure all this out, then you know what, I'm happy to help the next guy. But I'm not just gonna take something and repackage it. And I
No.
say that to people, and you're right. Sometimes people get a little frustrated and they sometimes get offended, and it's like, well, what's the big deal and what's the problem? And it's not that I'm not trying to be a roadblock. It's just that I can't repackage somebody else's work and just say, here you go. It's not my place.
Jason, you say it to me all the time. You could take 5 years to build a relationship in 5 minutes
5 minutes to ruin it. 5
ruin
years
it.
to build a relationship, 5 minutes to ruin it. You're right.
Yep.
I say it
Yep.
all the time because
It's
it's
very
very true.
important.
It's
Yeah.
very true. And you really have to, especially in a community like this and some of the things that have happened in the past, you really have to take into consideration because some people don't. And it's important. It's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
But on that note, brother, I got to do some work, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna head off get some stuff done. But good show,
Right.
and
Great
yeah,
show.
I may see you tonight, I may not, but for those who are watching, we've got group therapy, and we'll see you this evening.
I should be on tonight.
All right.
Good night. Well, no, it's daytime. See you, everybody.